Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Whaleshares Hangout number 4. Today is September 25th, 2018, and this is Power Picks, and I'm joined with Crazy Krista. And we'll go over some basic updates for this week on the Whaleshares platform, and then start a conversation with members from the community about anything that is crossing their mind, whether it be account creation, posts, future updates, and things like that. And we'll try to answer the questions as best as we can. So as we do each week, I'm going to jump in real quick and start with an update. And today it was announced that the Whaleshares share drop claim period number 2 is now open. And we do have a post for that. I did drop the link there in Discord for everyone to grab it. That is over on the official @Whaleshares account on whaleshares.io. And in that post, we have a breakdown of basically what happened with the claim period number 1 that closed out on the 15th. And basically what we had a decent response, but we did want to open it up again to kind of, the whole goal is that we have like a fair distribution of WLS across the platform. We don't want it to be lopsided in favor of a few whales and then, kind of the way it is in other platforms. So, we did want to reopen this up again for a second claim period for those that qualify. So most of us that are in the chat here now already on the platform have done our claims. So this announcement's more if you want to help spread the word, if you know other people in your, say your sub communities, whatever you guys are parts of, let's say on Steam and other platforms, let them know that they can still come in and claim. We'll be focusing our efforts over on the BitShares community as well, because a large majority of the unclaimed stake WLS whale stake is coming from the BitShares community and the holders over there in the DEX. So in our first share drop claim period, we had about a 27% claim rate, where 938 BitShares accounts claimed, and that was a total of 5,634,036.175 whale share. The dev team also was distributed and staked as required their portion of the share drop. There was a 10% share drop on the dev team, which was 2.1 million shares. So that gives us a total of just over 7.7 million, which means we have an outstanding balance of just over 13 million WLS that's still unclaimed. So we're hoping that in this second round, it's going to last for 30 days and end on October 25th, just before midnight UTC. We're hoping the second round will help boost us well over, the 50%, closer to 60% claim ratio, which will help bring a lot more stability to the platform long term, as far as the distribution and the growth and stability of value. At the same time, we know in our Discord, we've had a lot of talk. A lot of people here have been helping with creating new accounts and helping people with that claim process. Bushkill was one of the big helps in that room as well, so I have to thank him. But we, as promised, we did refund any of the errant claims. These are any claims that were made with BitShares accounts that were not included in the share drop, or people who might have copied and pasted the memos incorrectly and sent those wrong, or did not send the proper amount of whale share, the fee that was required. We had 500, then 250, then 1, so you might have sent the wrong number of whale share to do the claim on your first attempt. So all those errant claims have been refunded. There's 345 counts that were refunded. A total of 1,271 and change BitShares was refunded, and 6,216 whaleshare tokens were returned to the respective owners. So that's something we made good on. And we'll do the same thing in this second claim period as well. But really the focus is on just get out there and let people know that we did open up this second claim period. And the form has been changed. So this is something we learned from the first share drop claim period, and that is people not really knowing if their BitShares account was included in the claim or not. So now when you actually head over to, there's instructions on this poster, but when you actually send people over to the claim form, the first thing you'll notice at the top is you'll enter in your BitShares account name, and you can hit the button, check your BitShares account, and it'll then return whether you have an account with a valid claim or not. If it is, it'll turn green. and then tell you the breakdown of what you held in the share drop, either BitShares, Whaleshare, or Routing PTS tokens, and then it'll tell you how many WLS you're entitled to in the share drop. If you don't see that and you just see the red bar, it'll tell you that you're not included in the share drop, so don't bother continuing with that. So if you know anyone who hasn't claimed, just pass them over to this post that has the instructions and get them on board for that. So I'll pass over to Krista and we can talk about the new account creation option.
Okay, hi everybody. So we have a new way to create accounts. It's instantaneous, pretty much. The whole process takes maybe 5 minutes. So rather than use the free account creation at the moment, if you would recommend to people that they come reach out to me on Discord, all they have to have is a BitShares account in order to use this method. And what it is sign up WLS token, which is a user issued asset that was created just for this purpose. And basically, you just send one of those in lieu of sending the 200 Whaleshares, which would be instant, and you're able to create an account. What I'm having happening right now, for the most part, is people contacting me that have already registered, and then I have to jump through. Have to take their email address, give it to another person, and then that person is verifying them and going ahead and approving their account, because all of the accounts in the free creation tool that is on the site have to still be manually approved. So this way, I can kind of manually approve as people are creating accounts. So it just works out better for everybody. I don't have to play tag with the other person who's doing it, who is super busy, busier than me. So yeah, if you have people who want to make an account, have them reach out to me, or have them just reach out in general. There are other members of the launch team who actually have the tokens as well that can help them. But I have the majority of them, and I'm not going to call out the other people that have the tokens. So just send them over to Discord. It'll make it super easy to get more and more people onboarded. I will say that we're not going to do secondary accounts right now. So if you already have an account, or a person already has an account, don't try to come to me or other people to have us make them. We're just trying to onboard as many people as possible.
Yeah, so this is great too, because I know a lot of people have been giving feedback, or they come in the Discord and asking, how long does it take? We do have the note on the website that says it takes 7 to 10 days because it is a manual process. And the reason for that on the free sign up is, we're trying to verify to make sure there's not say, for example, a series of Gmail accounts, Billy Bob 1, Billy Bob 2, Billy Bob 3, just trying to, kind of force their way in with a bunch of sock puppet accounts or things like that. So the manual process takes time because things are being double checked to make sure there is one human behind one account, pretty much. And so this new token that Krista was just explaining, since people are coming to us in Discord, that's pretty much the human verification that we need. Where when you're doing it, anonymously through the free sign up on the website, we don't have that human interaction. So this token actually gives a chance for someone to say, "This is me. I tried this account. Here I am. Please let me in." We know that's one human behind one account, and then we're here to help you get in. But like Krista mentioned, it's basically for your primary account. So if you already have an account, we're not really doing secondaries through this process.
And we do have a way, if you do know people who have been waiting, not like a day, but if there are people that have been waiting, a week, 2 weeks to get on, we do have a way to try to push that through. But this way just makes more sense because, like I said, it's not requiring, I don't know how many accounts are backlogged at this point, but it's one person dealing with all of those accounts trying to manually approve them. So if you do have an email address that you use to sign up, you still haven't got your sign up, it's been 2 weeks, feel free to reach out to myself and I can try to push that through. But it just makes it so much easier. Like PowerPick said, if we get the human interaction, it's easier to onboard people that way. I made a nice guide to where I can just send it to them, and all I have to do is send the token, send the guide, and I'm done. So it just makes it a lot easier. And I think that I've actually onboarded, I'm thinking probably between 5 and 7 people a day in this way. So probably pretty close to 30 people so far, either by taking their email address and pushing it through or using the token. So um, that's what's working for now. There might be a different method in the future, but that.
Cool. All right, so that's pretty much the kind of official announcement that we have for the week. If anyone has anything they want to discuss, feel free to jump on the mic, and ask the question, or ask it here in the chat. Um, we've had different feedback and suggestion stuff coming into the week. That's also here in the Discord channel. So if you have any of your own suggestions or feedback about the platform, things you think you would like to see that would help improve it, feel free to drop something in there as well.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
A little bit muffled, but we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, this is Emeka Shogun speaking from Nigeria. There's something I noticed on the platform, and if probably after writing a post and you mistake you omit something, and you want to quickly edit and adjust that thing, I noticed that you can't upload a picture anymore except you probably get a link to that picture. So I think there should be an adjustment as regards that.
Okay. Are you on a mobile device or like a PC or laptop?
A mobile device.
Mobile device. Okay. We will check that out and pass it along to the dev team. Thank you. All right. And then the question in the chat here was asking if WLS is tradable yet. At the moment, no. Power down is still closed. On October 1st, the full power down gets enabled, and then of course there's that 7-day process that allows you to unlock those tokens. At that time, Rudex, that's rudex.org, will open their gateway. That gateway has been built and tested. We know it's ready to go. They'll open that gateway, and that'll allow you to trade WLS tokens in and out of the BitShares DEX using that gateway. At that point in time, then they will be tradable, at first up against BitShares. And in those first days, that will establish the value of WLS. So we look forward to that as well. We're just, 6 days away from that, I guess. It's pretty cool.
Just to go back to the photo issue, what you can do is if you open in a new tab and start a new document, you could actually take and upload it that way, I believe, before you
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. So if I actually want to edit and I want to upload a picture, I can do it that way. And another thing I noticed is on the comment section as well, you can't upload. On the comment section, you can't upload except just do the way you just mentioned. That's the only way you can upload on comment section.
Yeah, we'll be sure to bring that to the team when we're in the meeting, so that maybe that's something that we can implement in the future.
Yeah, I think you're talking about editing. Like, so I guess you can do it the first time, but you can't edit it. Or when you go to edit, you can't edit a photo when you're editing. So we'll get that checked out just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that as well. So I mean, on mobile, anyways, that's what I do primary. My laptop's broken, so. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that stuff?
The other important thing that we just want to make sure that everybody knows, not just everyone here in the chat live, because there's a lot of regular people in here, but just for the sake of the recording and those hearing this later on, we want to make sure that the community stays very active in the platform from the beginning. like we kind of tell you this kind of every week. We have these shows and even in our updates that in the coming months as the platform kind of reaches the final stages that the dev team kind of envisioned it to be at, the platform will kind of be handed over to the community as we evolve into a true DAC. So the community will be making the decisions in what happens to the platform as far as design, development, future updates, governance, and things like that as we get to that point. And along with that, we want to make sure that everyone stays active in voting for witnesses on the platform. It's one of the most important things you can do. If you're not involved in design or dev work or governance, things like that, getting involved in learning who the witnesses are on the platform and what they stand for, how they're involved in the community, and what they support is very important, because as we go forward, those of us who are part of the dev team who might be in the top ranks of the witnesses now might not always be in that position. Other witnesses will come up that become popular in the community, and those rankings will always shift over time. So it's very important that the users of the platform understand how the witness process works and the responsibilities of the witnesses in kind of being the guardians of the blockchain. Just like we've seen what's happened over on Steemit, the witnesses make those decisions through a consensus. You have to have a majority consensus to agree to the hard forks that are the major changes behind the blockchain. If you don't have a majority of a consensus, those changes will not take effect and the platform stays as is. So a majority group of witnesses can either accept or reject changes that the community might want to see in the platform. So that's why we do stress a lot that we want to make sure the community is engaged and learning about who the witnesses are, what they represent, and voting for the ones that they truly support. So please, please make sure you get involved. All the witnesses, they do have a link on the witness page where you can go back in and read their maybe their announcement post or introduction post, learn about what they're doing for the community. So start following the ones that are active in the community that you support, and stay up to date with the announcements and things that they put out there. It's important going forward.
Also, I know this question wasn't actually directed towards me, but he said, "Sir, what is the expected price of WLS in US dollars?" So we will not be speculating price at this time personally. I probably will never speculate price. Cryptocurrency is very volatile. It can go up, it can go down, but the market will actually determine the price. So if you are selling or buying WLS, you will actually help influence that. And also, I wanted to make you guys aware, if you have not saw yet, we have Whaled. So this was put together by Chrono Crypto. I believe that's his name. I think he's here, maybe. Anyways, it's pretty neat. I'm liking it. I'm keeping it open actually in my browser now. So that is where you can get information similar to that you would find on SteamD. So
Yeah, these tools are great.
actually,
Yeah, because we have you have the whaled.live. You also have the Whaleshares .live, which is also giving you information about the witnesses and the blocks being produced. Helps you keep up to date on which witnesses are actually keeping their nodes synced and up to date and not missing blocks. And we have the whaleshares.info, which is another great platform giving information on how to use the whale tokens as well. And Bushkill's been helping keep that updated. So he's been very good about that.
I know that we were touching base on whale tokens last week when we did the show, but do want to remind people that they are live and ready to be used. I have noticed myself that a lot of the mana is actually not getting used right now because a lot of the tokens are not getting used. I know that there are a ton of them out in circulation, so I don't know if people aren't aware that they're not or that they're ready to be used, or if they don't know how to use them or what. But if somebody does not know how to use them, you can go to that whaleshares.info that PowerPix was just talking about, and it gives you a comprehensive guide, who to send it to, who the vote comes from. It also tells you now, because Bushkill is so awesome, it tells you the amount of mana that they have left and how many WLS full vote will throw. I think that it is planned to actually put the site that I just put the link to up there onto the platform. I cannot confirm that it is there yet because I have not checked, but it has been suggested. So there are links that you can click when you go to the hamburger menu on the platform. There are helpful links that you can click on the side there. Well, and look at that. There's a token guide brought to you right in the chat, and I would try to say your name, but I would totally mess it up. So
I would like to add about the social media that we have. Candy, if you could drop the links to the social media that we are running, trying to reach out to other people to create awareness and expand the platform.
So there you have it. There's a Twitter, and there's also a Facebook that she's providing for you right now. We also have Telegram. Not a whole lot going on over there. I've been committing myself to checking it once a day. So if somebody is trying to reach out to us there, I'm checking it once a day. That's the best I got. The best way to get any sort of help would be to come here into Discord. This is where I would prefer that you direct people, especially if they need me directly and not just help with something. Telegram, I do not get notifications from. If somebody wants to tell me how to get notifications there, I will try to set that up. But I try to be available to people aside from when I'm like sleeping. So here.
Yeah, definitely. Telegram's tough. You get lost in all the individual channels over there. But as far as
luckily Marshall has been helping there a bit.
Yes.
But Marshall's just telling people that he'll reach out to me, and then they're like, why isn't she here? Well, I mean, I'm one person, I can't be everywhere. So if you guys want to help over there, feel free to do so.
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Marshall. Yeah, definitely. And then, like you saw the links that just went up that Candy posted. As far as the social media platforms, I mean, definitely if you're on those other platforms, give them a follow. If anything, that is to help us spread word of Whaleshares onto those other social media platforms. Whatever they post over there, they'll have different promotional and marketing things and stuff that'll be posted. Please just kind of share them onto your own accounts on those social media platforms to help get the word out. That's really the purpose of following those. So definitely check them out and follow them if you're on those, Twitter, Facebook, etc.
I know that people were asking earlier in general chat if we would try to do a hard fork like Steam just did. We are not following their lead in anything that we are doing. So that is the best answer I have for that. If anybody asks you that or speculates on that, it is a completely different team behind running it, different witnesses, sometimes the same, but a lot of them are different. So just note that just because Steam does something does not mean Whaleshares is going to follow. We'll actually let them keep copying us in the meantime if they want to.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to either type them in the chat or just jump on the mic and ask us. That's what we're here for.
I will say that whatever you guys are doing to promote and get the word across is working pretty well. I'm seeing lots of intro posts every time that I log on now. So that is awesome.
Yeah, that has been great. And I've seen, which is also really cool, is Chucky and Brian with the Spanish Beyond Bitcoin community has been pulling in a lot of new members. So it's really great to see that kind of diversity kicking in now on the platform. And even in the trending, like you're starting to see a lot of our community members, running up to the ranks on trending. So it's really exciting to see that. It's not just initial dev or launch team people anymore in trending. It's the community is starting to have a nice balance. It's really cool. And I definitely have to thank Chucky and his team.
They're pretty awesome. I will say that I posted the same article to Steemit and Whaleshares yesterday, and on Steemit it got 1 comment, and on Whaleshares I think it's up to right around 20. So I like the fact that we have a lot of engagement going as well. I will continue trying to foster that type of environment. It seems like people are engaging more, maybe because it's newer, maybe just because we have the right people.
Just given the IM group response there, since I saw it in the username. I can't really do troubleshooting while I'm doing the recording, so as far as the mic issue there.
I would normally be the person that would help, but I don't want to leave my own show. So somebody else is going to have to grab him in a private room, grab him in a private room and see if he can help him.
Yeah, so what's everyone's opinion? We haven't gotten much feedback. Well, we haven't actually directly asked it yet. But, over the last week, there's been some minor updates at the platform as well. You'll notice, like, on the posts, when something has been rewarded and shared, you drop down that list, and it actually now shows you the percent of mana that was used for the reward and the WLS value of that reward on any given post. So I don't know if anyone had any comments about that, any feedback. Did they like that? What we're trying to do is give transparency on the platform. So this will help. Just like we have these tools and stuff, and now showing you your witness information. We're having stuff with the Whale D that was just created by Chrono Crypto's team. This is giving that transparency the platform needs to make sure there's no hidden agenda behind the scenes or collusion stuff or centralization forming. These are your windows into what's going on. So anytime you see these updates happen, we have been posting small announcements, or individual team members or even people in the community are picking up on these changes and creating posts that kind of say, hey, you just see this change was made. So anytime, feel free to jump back in the Discord and kind of jump in that feedback room and, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're open to positive and negative feedback for any changes that you see happening across the website. Yes, exactly, Woodsy. That having the value now on the slider is fantastic as well. Yep. But we are always open to feedback, so drop your comments if you got them.
And you can actually see right in your wallet now, along with your mana, you can also see how many WLS you're currently throwing. So say you got all crazy and knocked yourself down to 50% mana, it'll show you the amount for that as well. So it's showing real-time data as far as that goes.
Yeah, and notifications is a future feature. It's not on the top of the to-do list yet, but I know, I think it's Blackman. If you go check out his account at Blackman over on Whaleshares, he's created a, I think it's a Discord notification. Yeah, there you go. Affiabot that'll actually, connect up and give you those notifications you're looking for. So that's kind of a temporary service that he set up for us, for the community, and it's fantastic. So check it out if you guys want that. There you go. That's what we're looking for. There's the Discord link. So check it out if you guys want that. And even just for the sake of the recording, anyone else in the community, if you're a developer and you want to create tools that help this platform, help the community, create them, come into Discord and share them with the community. We're open to everything. Whatever makes life easier for the users, where we want it. Hey, Chucky, I see you just came into the chat here. We were just talking about you and wanted to thank you, for your input with the Spanish community and helping to onboard them onto the platform. We appreciate it.
You missed him talking all sweet about you. You missed that part of the chat. It's okay. It's recorded. You can go back and find it later.
I love you, Power Pigs.
Thank you, Chucky. And Enrico already proposed to me, so I don't know.
Oh, hello, this is Lexicon082. I just had a thought. Net had put out his witness question for the week about the greatest perceived threat to the Whaleshares platform in the future. And Cerulean Blue, he had put out an interesting post about just the size of the blockchain. And I know, for example, on Steemit, some witnesses are actually joining together just because the cost is becoming so prohibitive to run a witness. And the reason why I think it's a concern is for a few reasons. Is of course, right now we don't know, the price of Whaleshares. But in the future there will be a price established. And at what point is equilibrium achieved to where you're not even earning enough as far as block rewards to pay for a witness when the price does become rather prohibitive? And then, but also on the community side, the price can become so prohibitive, with the cost that you have into a server, that it may prohibit witnesses that can bring a lot to the platform from being able to run a witness. So is there anything as far as plans as far as scaling the blockchain when it does become rather large?
Yes, that's an interesting topic. I know just in our kind of dev team there that we have touched on a portion of that conversation, and as far as I understand it, as we do future updates and enhancements, kind of getting that platform to where we want it to be, there'll be some things in the code, the way it's done, that'll help streamline as far as um, maybe Alex can help me with an answer too, but it had to do with the the load that is placed on the API server versus the witness servers to kind of help on the resources in that end as far as what we'll need for a witness server in the future as the chain grows and the usage transaction grows. At the same time, we also have to remember we do have coded into our rewards pool the way it works. We do have a 5% reserve pool that's put aside, that's pulled out for development work and things like that. So we call it, that's our dev fund, and that's growing quite substantially on the side. As the chain and community grows itself, and we start getting this feedback, say we go out a year from now, a year and a half from now, the community itself, including the witnesses who are part of this community, will be able to come together and say, we're at this point where WLS has X value, it takes this much machine to run these nodes, and this is the price of those machines on average. And let's say we're breaking even or starting to hit at a loss. We could always then, as a community, make that proposal and say, the dev fund that's pulling out 5% a year is funded enough. There's enough money in those reserves for development. We're cool with that. At that point in time, maybe that 5% is switched over to a witness reserve pool that helps maybe float that difference. So there's things like that that we can always talk about as time goes on. Um, and as a community, a platform, a chain, and a team, we come together with these proposals and say, you know, this is what we need in order for the chain and the platform to be successful. So maybe we can just readjust where that reserve fund goes. If development is already funded enough, then we can maybe switch it over to a witness reserve pool or, like a rescue pool, something like that.
Well,
So
technically, the witness nodes actually need a lot less resources than the full nodes. That's a kind of a big difference, and there's been a lot of talk of different ways to do that already. Um, you know, uh, where it's already kind of some of it's been being built. Where instead of so you can have just like where you have all the witnesses, which are kind of low resource. You can have like maybe a few full nodes, that are backed up, but then all the main data can actually be massively distributed on kind of cheaper commodity servers and hardware that's a lot more or less resource intensive, more like just standard databases that you're pulling like all the posts from and other stuff. In fact, you're already kind of seeing some of that start just with the shares versus posts and such. So.
Awesome. Thank you for those responses. That's what just getting out into the community and then plus hearing feedback. It always gives more ideas. But I know this is going to be moving over to a DAC in the future, and the community will have a lot of input. But it's kind of nice to see which direction people are thinking of the platform going.
Yeah, personally, I started running the witness on the test net on April 1st, and I've already had to scale up. So just in the short amount of time before we even hit mainnet, I had to scale up. So that's going to be required. Obviously, right now it's not super costly, but it might become quite costly. I know a lot of witnesses, Steam witnesses, do have issues to where they have to kind of weigh on whether it's worth it or not anymore.
Yeah, we have a military veteran witness over there that actually donates plasma on a weekly basis to pay for his witness.
Yeah, the idea is to give people access to I mean, us every week at this point. And then there are, I mean, quite a few members of the launch team here. Alex, who just spoke, would be part of that group, Chucky as well. And then Rex and Candy as well. I think somebody else is hiding in here and I miss, oh, Bushkill. Can't forget Bushkill. So the idea is to give you guys access to us so you can bounce your ideas off of us because, like was discussed before, eventually we won't have as much say as you will in what goes on. We will have a say more as a community member and less as part of the launch team. So it's important for you guys to tell us what you like, what you hate, and questions, so we don't have FUD going on and we don't have miscommunication going on. Everything can kind of be laid out flat for everyone.
Yeah, crazy Chris. I do have to say that's one of the most important factors that we actually get together and discuss these things as a community. That's part of the focus on Whaleshares, to be molded by the community itself. Like Lexicon stated earlier, eventually it will be handed over as a DAC. So when that point comes, it'll be cool for the community to be like on point with what we had in mind as well, right?
And help us decide what we have in mind. Brainstorming is invaluable. And if we're going to share a space together, which many of us already have been for a long time, if we're going to continue to share a space together and grow, whether that be the platform or the Discord, it's important for us to communicate with each other. So, a lot of people have been coming in a lot. How do I get more shares? How do I get more rewards? Networking is just so valuable. I can't even tell you how valuable it is, whether you're doing that via the platform or via Discord, getting to know people, talking to people, even simply remembering what country somebody is in, or that they're male or female, or that they have a dog named Rex. Sorry to use your name like that, Rex. Didn't think about it. But those things are important to become familiar with the people that you are supporting and you want to support you. If you enjoy somebody's content and you run into them in Discord, letting them know those types of things. Many of us have become friends here rather than just, well, they're on the same platform as me sort of deal.
Yeah, it's good. And I think, us also keeping this kind of open communication has helped out a lot, even with some of the new members to our community, because some people are coming in, were not even part of Whaleshares, before we got to the chain launching and stuff. And some people will come in at first and they have that steam it mentality and they'll come in a little more aggressive to us when they talk. And once they realize that, we're always going to still treat them fairly and evenly and help them as much as we can, you'll kind of see that conversation quickly change where they become, very passive and then cordial with us, and then oh my god, this is great, and then all of a sudden it's more friendly. So, I think that's really good. That, like Krista says, we're always here. The leaders are here, and then even we've seen a lot of people in the community starting to step up on their own, um, which is, I mean, really incredible. Um, and it's the same thing. It's I don't know how you pronounce your name. It's IJMMAI. You have been extremely helpful in some of the support channels, and that's just something like you came in and did that on your own. Nobody told you to do it, but you have been helping, and it has been noticed, and we're very thankful for that. It's things like that where the community members are coming in and picking up those roles, and that's exactly what we're looking for, as we go down the road, looking for leaders, to take on this role for the DAC in the future. So it's great. Yeah, absolutely. It's appreciated.
I was going to say he was trying to thank you, silly. But really, I mean, it does make a difference. I know myself that I am like becoming extremely busy, and I'm getting to the point where, as an admin here, PowerPix is obviously also an admin here, but he's got stuff going on with Smoke, and I've got other, moderators that help here as well. But eventually, we start hitting up into the couple thousands of people. We're going to need more mods, and we're going to need graders, and we're going to need people who are here to just answer everyday questions. and we watch, so we see who's being helpful. So it really is important as a community that we don't ignore people. You know, if you have 5 minutes, pop into one of those channels where somebody's asking a question, scroll up a couple screens on Discord and answer a question for somebody. That's what makes this community great, is the ability for people to do things without expecting some sort of reward in return, without expecting some sort of, you know, confirmation that they're a good boy or whatever. So
Well, we're trying to keep the focus on whale shares, really. If you have something that's generally smoke related, just ask it in the text, and I can always either come back to it a little bit later, if anything. But I'll definitely answer questions about that as well later on.
Okay, so since my microphone is actually working today, I do have one suggestion for the platform. And I like to go back through my replies and, see, read them. But one of the things that I see that happens, and I actually had this suggestion a long time ago for Steemit. If you reply to the comment already, that it would not be in bold black in the reply section of your account, that it would actually change to gray. I don't. Does it?
I think I know what you're saying. Sometimes I'll go back to replies and I will say, you know, and then the title, and there's just like a box there. Instead of the reply showing up, I actually have to click on it to see the reply. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like if you go into the reply tab on your account, and usually it'll be in bold black, and then when you actually hit reply from the window, and then if you go back and check it, it usually turns to like a light gray to show you that you have replied to it. But sometimes you will go to the actual post and not through the reply tab, and reply to a comment, and then when you're looking through your reply section, it's still in bold black instead of turning to gray if you just go directly to the post.
Gotcha. So you don't know that you have actually replied to that because it's not indicating as much.
Correct. Yes.
Will you do me a favor, when you come across that again, will you actually screenshot it so that we have visual representation to show that to the team?
Sure. Yes. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. That's helpful. Whenever you find things like that just kind of bug you, aren't major problems, it is very helpful if we have some sort of visual, because to explain that in typing to somebody is going to be hard for me. So look at, you've got it already. Look at you go.
Yep, that's a perfect example right there.
Yeah, if somebody wants to shove that in feedback or icon, it doesn't really matter to me. That would be helpful. And just like last week, I didn't warn anybody because I didn't want to, but if you guys want some crazy coin, go ahead and DM me your BitShares account name, and I will gladly send some over. I do dare them, Dan. I definitely dare them to do. My tagline is actually, I do what I want. That's becoming more and more apparent to people. Anybody else have? Well, it's not my fault. People spoil me, so then I just do whatever I want to do. Does anybody else have any questions?
That was pretty spot on, Krista.
Well, I mean, I basically don't want to warn people that there's going to be free anything when they come to here, and there might not always be, but right now today there is. Because I want people to come because they care, because they give any sort of crap about Whaleshares. This place is very important to many of us who are in leadership positions. It is very important to many people who are witnesses. It is very important to many people who are plain community people. And I want other people to care like I care. So I want them to come just because they want to be part of the process. I think we might cross it pretty soon. Actually, I'm pretty excited. Actually, once we hit 1,000 members, which is going to happen, I'll have to have some sort of party where I buy a bunch of whale tokens and just throw them at people hard.
John Robert, to answer your question, his question was asking about the WLS that is not claimed. Um, once we get through, our series of claim windows, I mean, we're not going to obviously let that drag on forever. But the plan was to apply the unclaimed WLS to the account creation reserves pool. So that will help us. There's always a kind of a fee basically to start up new accounts. That's where you're getting the initial whale stake that's required for your accounts to do transactions. So that will actually be moved over to the accounts creation reserve pool to help fund future account creation. That is the plan as it is right now.
You guys can keep the questions coming. We were going to try and keep it around an hour every week, but if people have legitimate questions or other things they want to talk about that are Whaleshares related, we can keep going for a bit longer. I don't see a problem. Gideon was saying that the view of the post editor should be worked on so it can be viewable like that of busy.org. I've actually never used Busy before, so I really have no idea what that looks like. I know that when I use the post editor myself, I'm not having a lot of a problem with it. So, like Steam it with extension.
Yeah, like Krista, do you have that like the Chrome extension that lets you view the preview when you're writing the post?
I'm able to view it anyways. I just have to scroll down. On Whaleshares, I can view it as well. I've never used Steam Peak either. I've only ever used steamit.com. So I guess maybe this is not my expertise area. But I know that when I'm writing a post, if I scroll down on my phone or on the computer, either way, it will show me what my post will look like. So I don't know what you're talking about. Gotcha. So you're saying it's side by side. You don't have to scroll down to see it. Okay. I mean, that's something that we can definitely mention to the team. Not sure that that's ever been touched. Yeah, put it right in feedback. Yep. I really like that I can actually go back and edit because I'm a dork, and I'll go back to my posts quite a bit and comment. Instead of using the comment or reply feed, I just go to the main feed. It works easier for me. And I'll be like, oh, I had that spelling error in there for a week and nobody told me. So where's when you need them on Whaleshares?
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I just want to say I never noticed that it was tedious to scroll down because I've never had a different option. So thanks for letting me know, because now every time I have to scroll down, I'm going to be mad about it.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I never even thought about it. I'm just so used to it from, Steemit and over to Whaleshares and even on Smoke. I'm just used to that format now. That's funny.
I know. Is it going to make you mad now every time, though? Because it might make me mad. I'm not going to lie.
I have no idea. I'm just so used to it.
We've been talking this whole time, and by Compound couldn't hear us. See, I've never had problems updating at all. It's been super quick and super painless. I'm somebody who takes care to read through my posts lots of times, but I still make tons of mistakes sometimes and have to go back and edit, and I've never had issues. So I'm not sure why you are having issues. It could be your network.
And Marshall, you had asked about marketing for Whaleshares. That's something that's coming. I know right now we're just kind of doing our viral efforts. The community's actually out there spreading the word through Steam and other platforms and onboarding people. Once we get to kind of our final version of what the platform is going to be, we will work on more substantial marketing and promotion efforts. But we want to make sure we get the platform to where we all envisioning it being first, so we don't kind of waste that effort on where we are now. I don't want to say too much about it, but we want to get where we want to be first before we do that, and then we will unleash the marketing.
Hey, Gideon, as far as the flag button, the downvote flag has been there actually. And what it is it actually costs 3 times as much of your mana if you're flagging. And it also does 3 times, well, not 3 times less. It gives a third of your mana in flagging. So if you were, it would cost, like, if you gave 100% flag, it would cost 300% mana, if that makes sense, or 3 times. So like you were upvoting 3 times at 100%, or sharing, because I did not say upvote at all just now. And it actually will only give 3 or a third of your full mana. Why is that so hard to freaking spit out?
Yeah, so
somebody type that for me.
Yeah, it's basically we're saying it's like the relative, 3 times mana. But basically, if your reward value is say worth 10 WLS, if you were to flag someone, it only flagged them with 3.33 WLS, strength pretty much. So it's 1/3. And same thing with for self-voting on your own comments. If your normal reward for a comment would be, say, 10 WLS, instead, if you were to reward your own comment, it would only give 3.33.
I'm probably saying your name wrong, but Hadak asks why to use Discord as an archive when the blockchain is a better archive and can be commented and shared, etc. People are coming here and dropping stuff anyways. It would be better for it to all be in one place. That is all I would have to say. Feel free to make posts, please, on feedback, on concerns. We welcome people to voice them in whatever way that they find appropriate.
Yeah, Chucky had mentioned even using like WLS dash feedback as a tag. So that's fine. Yeah, there were people even in the test net, and even as we moved to mainnet, that if they came across any bugs or issues and stuff, they were making posts about it. That's fine as well. But as Krista mentioned, it's just for the devs to come and hunt stuff down. It just makes stuff easier if people are putting their feedback and responses in a centralized place like Discord, at least, so we can check on them. So if you do make a post even about it, that's fine too to be on chain, but just copy and paste the link to the post over here in feedback, so we have a place to come and find everything. Makes it easier on the devs instead of hunting stuff down across the platform.
Yes, by compound, we already kind of touched base on whale tokens. If you have a specific question, you're more than welcome to either jump on the mic or type the question in there and we'll try to address it. Chrono Crypto, flagging for copyright and plagiarism at this point is being handled by a couple different people who have enough WLS to, whale stake vested to try to zero out rewards. There's no consensus at this point what should go on. So a couple of us have just kind of taken it into our own hands. Eventually the community will have it and they will deem what is fit to happen and what should cost and blah. But at this point, all flags are created equal.
Right, because I mean the idea that gets tossed around, we know on Score and other platforms, the flag has a drop-down option that lets you kind of check off what the purpose of the flag is for. But as soon as you kind of set a different weight behind the different types of flagging or reasons for flagging, you'll of course have those people that are always going to be checking the box for the least punitive or penalizing against your own reward strength instead of using the appropriate one. So there'll always be people gaming the systems when you have things that are not equal across the board. So it's just more things that we can always discuss as a community and try to figure out solutions to.
Okay, and at this point, all we have is that room right there. But please be aware that that room is a public room. So if you're reporting somebody, know that it is public, and they will know that you're reporting them. And also, it's best to check sources first. So if you can find proof that something is plagiarized, then feel free to drop it in there. As far as spamming goes, I'm not personally flagging comments at this point that I find to be spam. I don't know that I ever will be, but blatant plagiarism, feel free to report it. It's easier if you have a source. If you need help finding a source, find somebody else that you trust, forward it to them. Maybe they can help you. That's my best thing I have to say about it.
Yeah, Meredith had asked a question about plagiarism checkers and whitelisting groups and things like that. These are all things that we do need to continue to discuss, even weekly in these different hangouts, and also within the community, in the Discord and chats and stuff, just to find out what the solution is going to be for that. You know, we all seem to have differing opinions as far as bots taking the lead on that. We do have that bodyguard bot that you'll see occasionally coming across now, and that's only activated similar to a whitelisting thing for accounts that have been known to be constantly spamming or plagiarizing. It's not an automatic process. It's something that's manually being activated on those accounts that we're basically throwing here in the abuse channel. So it's something that we definitely have to talk about. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the hard part too. Over on Steemit, there are just so many bots and people that are taking on kind of like that self-vigilante mentality of things, where it causes probably more harm than good because it starts it starts creating that environment where people are afraid to post or comment, or even if it's pieces and parts of posts where it's not fully plagiarized, but they really didn't cite it correctly. You know, it starts being like, where do you draw the line on how people are being attacked? For their content, unless it's just straight up plagiarism and they know it and we all know it. But there's all the, like, even on Scorum, we're seeing they have their new plagiarism system that was put into effect, and it starts to limit the rewards that are given to the post based on what percentage of a post it deems to have been plagiarized or borrowed from somewhere, or not correctly quoted, or even if it is quoted. So I'm not fully sure yet how that's all coming together, or how that would even affect cross-posting. There's a question earlier, I think it was IM Smuggles was asking me in the other channel on Mazdax about that. So as far as even implementing Scorum into Mazdax, it's a matter of finding out, will their plagiarism feature kind of work against us with Mazdax as far as adding it. So there's different sides of the conversation that everyone really has to come together and talk about openly. And we can't have it as an argument. It has to be a civilized discussion, even over in the governance channel we have here. So everyone can kind of give their opinion, give their feedback, and we all discuss it as mature adults and come to a conclusion, of how we want the chain and the platform to be governed and managed and overseen.
Yeah, I mean, I would really rather spend my day helping people, onboarding people, supporting people with my mana than I would rather spend my day flagging people, for sure, or trying to find out if this person plagiarized. And you want to treat this as a place that you want to be, and you want to encourage other people to treat it as a place that they want to be. So if you see something that's maybe not plagiarism, but man, that's spam, just simply don't reward it. That would be my best thing. You will never see me flag somebody because I dislike them. There are people I dislike. They are posting on Whaleshares right now. I don't flag them. I don't need to. I've got nothing to prove, right? Anybody else? PowerPix is actually still recording this, so if everybody's done with questions, he could stop recording and then we're free to continue talking in here. If you've got more questions, please go ahead and enter the conversation at any time.
Yeah, so let's do that then. We've kind of passed our hour mark since we started, so we'll wrap it up as far as the official recording and then just kind of go into a general chat then. So everyone, every week, we'll just every Tuesday, same time at 7 p.m. Eastern. Just join us here in the Whaleshares Discord, and we'll have a nice conversation about Whaleshares and the future of the platform. So catch you next week.